It is September 17th. September 17th, 2024. And our collective wheel of change, our cosmic wheel alignment, our star seed cosmic alignment to matrix grids is all happening right now this month and with this eclipse. And I've since I've woke up a couple of hours ago, I've been messaging back and forth, doing my thing, what I do in the morning, and a lot of information is coming in about uh, even an experience one of the crew had that's an AB negative that was lining up the moon last night. So I've I'm just gonna come on and talk about what I'm seeing with these timelines, because we're gonna go back to February, and I'm gonna show y'all how this is all aligning right now with the eclipse, which is gonna the sun. Wait, where's the sun's in Virgo. The moon is going over number 32. This is Pisces. This is all set to a cardinal setting. So this is Aries and this is Pisces. This ray right here, this is number 32. It's right before you finish the wheel. Now I want everyone to close their eyes and imagine that throughout this past couple of years, as you were unbinding from, like, unbinding your feet, unbinding any type of earth chakra energy, that and you were unbinding all the energy that was wrapped up around your coccyx cable and your root chakra, right? And so it was bound deeper underneath, but you had cut the in between. So since you started out over down in here, you were cutting, and then your etheric body was coming up, joining a group, and energetically involved, even if you didn't know that you were doing it. Either faction coming around, connected into the reality codes, you're getting projected, then you go back into Pisces as a group, and then right here is when you're supposed to jump out of the ship. Right here would be, okay, that whole collective is floating up in a cloud. That whole collective energetic body, because they had cut from right underneath their feet, but they were getting held from way down here. And so that collective is like floating right here. Well, that's where the space station is. This whole program is this program that's breaking right now with this eclipse, affecting the moons, because after today, what you're gonna start realizing, and what I'm seeing and what I'm on here explaining, is these different moons that line up with the M suns, because your moon energy is going to come from Jupiter. Jupiter has all those moons that are going around it, right? And those moons are all tuned to different energies. Well, November 17th, 2022. So it's been 22 months exactly. We rebirthed Io. Io, Moon, and Jupiter with the collective works like a motherboard command center to all of the moons, because all your moon is going to do And all the moon does when it comes out is it reflects light, right? Because everything else is dark because the sun's not out, right? Well, if you start thinking about a moon cycle, because see, how's it different than the sun? The sun's just one big ball. Sun's just one big ball. Sun just comes up. It's like you're not watching a shadow go over it. Now, I'm going to do my best to channel this. I'm just going with this and praying that it all comes out and makes sense. The sun is always attached to the collective. The sun is who you are. The sun is I am. So in this analogy, it's like when the sun is on the galactic center, the galactic center, the hybrid space station at 25, 23, 24, 21 degrees of Pisces, right around in there. When the sun is getting all its power from all the collective energies merged together. We're the ones that are charging the sun. That's why there's never a crescent sun. There's not a crescent sun. There's not a, right? The energy of the sun is tied to the collectives. Okay? And it's I am. There's over 50 suns in our solar system. M suns, go look them up. Your M2 sun is going to be the one that's your whole entire solar system. Your M2 sun is attached, is what we'd call our entire solar system down here. It's attached into the earth realm. And then all the other suns are kind of built off of it. Well, each 10-year count of collectives. So if you was born in the 70s, if you was born in the 60s, if you was born in the 80s, if you was born in the 90s, if you was born 2000, 2010, like each, all the way back to if your original energy came in the 1500s, or your original energy with that sun came in the 900s, and that's then connected into the times of BC, which is connected into the times of CE. I mean, when you're dealing with M suns and you're dealing with collective energies, that's what it is. It's a collective dominant energy. And the ones in the collective that were remembering their past lives, that were connecting all of that, that's because they had the strand to go back that far, and that's how far it went back to whatever was done to that collective to change that current. Now, as an entire collective, we're attached into your energy is attached into different M suns depending on which DNA strands you have in your body, and which ones you ascended or descended from within your soul. What is your energy attached to? Because if you've got a full hybridized body, if you were made in a lab by any sense of the form, or any child that was made in a lab by any sense of the form, or if you had a rape baby, or you had rape babies in your family, or you had adopted rape babies, or you were raped, or you had a one-off one night stand in the 80s and 90s when you was unconscious, those would all be even linked into the lab stuff, because it changing in the lab is how those events were even showing up to happen to you, if you're one watching me right now. My point is, the suns were getting retuned first. We had to tune the sun first. Now, with this reset that's happening right now, this is where we start talking about the three different collectives that we've got, that some are going to end up in the wheel with Libra in the first house. Most of the world is going into Libra in the first house, this dial setting. Then we've got Cancer in the first house. And then Sag in the first house is what is bringing to line this up, okay? Well, you can think of all this as sun settings. So when we talk about your frequency, whether you've been doing good or bad over the past 7 years, and you hear all of us talk about universal law, and you see all of us that have been getting attacked and all this crap for eons, and we're not worried about it. We're not worried about it anymore because we are so in our knowing that everybody's individual frequency, no group, no marriage, no friendship, no babies, no children, no adopted children, your frequency one is gonna set into this wheel because we've corrected it and it's all back to the way the energy, the way it's supposed to be. This is why we know that so for certain, because what's happening right now is that we've got, it's kind of like we've got 3 different M-Sun settings that are aligning with these collectives, okay? That's whatever, and it really has become an insurgent. The masses have an insurgence. The middle tier has an insurgence. The middle's been the problem the whole time, and then the higher energies are the ones that are basically allowing this to reset, to show you what you need to do and clear and connect in order to keep connecting, or to build your foundation in that ring. Like I said, not everybody needs to go all the way out. Like, we've all got different missions. No matter, this is how you're connecting. The sun is what's getting your vibration up. The sun is what's making you have mucus. The sun is what's changing your physical body with the knowledge that you've put in your brain, connected into ethers. What's happening with right now is that the various moons from these suns are now going to start hitting the collectives, because each sun is going to have a different set of moons. Now, when we talk about moon, we've got the crescent. We blew through this crescent moon gate. All this stuff that was going on with the crescent moon cycles down here has been solved, because all curses were broken. And when you really start understanding how magic was working down here, and you really start understanding laboratory magic, and you really start really understanding how these elite, we would call them the elite, but they were just the highest alpha draconic nodus strands under the sun that was operating in that lower frequency. So the sun never changed current. So we had those reflectors coming around every year, didn't we? We were on a loop. It was like every single year the same thing was showing back up again in the shadow. Well, but that's why, because the entire collective was under, if you will, per scenario, because it's not necessarily what it's called, but it would be that alpha drac DNA sun, because everybody's energy ended up in that energy because it's what was making it. Now, the other thing so when you look at the moon right now, and when you go out and look at the moon, you're probably going to start seeing the moon. If you haven't already, some of us have been seeing this for a while. It looks like this. You can see the 3 orbs. If you've already been seeing that, when you look at the moon and you can totally see these pieces, like, and you're like, what the hell? It looks like 3 projections. Your sun was already lined up. And if you've been seeing this, it's been lining up these 3 moons into one moon. Now, each of these could be describing a parallel dimension, because the way they had the matrix running was 5, there were literally 5 parallels. This was all about merging 5. And whatever current you were on, I don't know, was the moon hitting you from this side? Were you standing over here, or were you standing over here, or were you right under it, or were you over here? Like, I don't know. But literally what you're seeing is a primer code. You can think of the moon and the sun as primer codes to 2 different sources. Let me say that again. The moon and the sun are primer codes on a giant puzzle. You know what a primer code is? You line up those primer codes. Go, what is that movie? Contact. Go watch Contact again. With Jodie, whatever her name was. Go watch that movie Contact again. And the guy that lives up on in the space station thing on the plane, and she can't figure out the primer code, but they're on the corners and they're all going to match up. And then whenever you match up that primer code, then all of a sudden you've got a tunnel that you're looking through. Right now, depending on when you're looking through that tunnel, you're gonna see that dimensional aspect over here and over here whenever you look up at the moon. Now, what happened in our world last night is that it was more like this. What does that look like? What does that look like? Olympics? Yep. If you're coming from the made 369 dimensional settings, which is what the entire matrix was set up on in N days, every single one of us has had to break out and change. Basically, in your body and your sun codes, you change to 2468. Why? Because you had the base root of 2. These guys that are staring from this direction into this, if they don't have 3, they ain't got crap. Everything that they built on top of it is 3. It's all got to go catalyst, flow, ignition. That's what 369 is. Catalyst, flow, ignition. Well, if you don't have the 3 template, if you don't have these 2 to line up these 3, you ain't got 3. And this is what happened. Those of us that were lining up on this 2 template, we then got out of this 369 moon crap, and then we started lining up these 2 suns. And this is where a lot of this twin stuff will happen, because you're literally mirroring an M sun primer from the dark side. You would call it like inside this crescent moon. I'm also drawing Libra for you right here in Virgo. If you will, on the chart, it's like on this side on the east side of the chart, because Venus was always on the east, and this was the east, and the east was, the one that was the bad guy and whatever. Well, that's because they wanted it to stay that way so they could keep. This is why Libra has had such a hard time making decisions, because there's an M sun here, and then there's an M sun here. Well, for the past thousands of years, this part wasn't being used, and this part wasn't being used. Everything was just coming from here to here and then in. And this is what we'd consider the dark side. And this is all these energies that have ever been utilized, however they've been utilized for 1,000,000 years, in order to get in order to project, in order to turn into a werewolf, in order to come into the gate, in order to line up to 1800 time count so we redo wars. Every single bit of the crap that they've been doing to the collective is on this side, like a crescent moon. Okay? Well, it's full now. At its highest, that's full. It's been filled up. And this mofo is crazy all in here. Now, what happens with our moon? Our moon goes through cycles. You've got you've got a full moon, and then it goes to gibbous, is like that much, and right, and then you go into the crescent, and then it's the black moon. They call it the black moon. That's the new moon, and that's whenever the sun and moon are right on top of each other. It's primed up. Sun and the moon is in prime. It's lined up. One circle over another. Clear, and the sun, it's a black moon, but it's only because the sun is coming straight through it. No moon. No emotions about it. No reflections about it. It's all the future. It's not the past. It's the future. I'm explaining all this because what I'm seeing and you got to clear your moon. And this is the shadow stuff. This is the stuff that was built off Amun Ra consciousness, which built off financial banking systems, which is even why they're attacking us. When you take it all the way back on the shadow side, it's real freaking easy. It's real easy to figure out the shadow side in our current world. They want power and money. Always. The sun is real difficult. The sun's way more difficult to figure out what was the original meaning in the end days, because the sun is about the human, and the sun is about evolution, and the sun is about us expanding and continuing, not getting stuck, continuing on our journey, building. Whereas the moon is basically showing you. Let me give you an example. And this could be what it is, because I usually channel it correctly, but again, I'm using this as an analogy because when it comes to M-Suns, I still haven't firmly gotten a grasp of where we are currently and what and how they had it bound down. I do know which one we had to activate to connect them all. These three collectives are on 3 different M-Sun settings. For example, if this one's on M2 and this one's on M3, and let's say this one's running off M1, which by the way, M1, M2, and 3 make up your Orion belt. So M1, M2, M3. Each one of these is going to have a moon that is holding all the shadow of that entire collective time count every single time that M3, M1, M2 moon was out. Let me say it again. Entire collective is now attached to the M1 sun. Let's say that. Not Centauri sun. Not even the sun that the M1, M2, M3, and I don't have that picture out. But on the wheel, M1 is right here, M2 is right here, M3 is right here, Orion's over here, and it boom, 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 and then all the little ants and bees, we's down at the bottom of the thing, so it was just reflecting down on us. Okay. M2 is the whole cosmos and the whole solar system, all the planets working together, not just the sun and the moon. Okay. M3 is going to be all of that merged into one and then beaming it to somewhere else. Probably M6. All the lessons that every single ancestor has had to learn, and all the ways to connect with your DNA strands and how your family lines lived and what ancestors were there and what was built in the matrix when M1 was running is what is going to be highlighted and showing up in your world through the moon to give you past knowledge, past reflections, even maybe spells that were done by, I mean, because you have to realize just all of us getting together and saying and saying anything as a group is a spell, because it's Babylonian frequency. It's also how you manifest as a group. I mean, not, and even deeper, you know, the stuff will come up about, oh my gosh, I know somehow my family line was involved with the matrix spell. I know it. Everything's coming up in my life matrix, but why did they do it? See, then you get led out of the fear, and then you realize, oh my gosh, we did it all for a great reason. I remember now why we did it. When that's what the moon is going to be highlighting in these different orbs for a year. For a year. Some of y'all are going to be clean in 10 years. Some of y'all are going to be clean in 100 years. Some of y'all are cleaning so many 100-year counts that it's going to blip up to 1,000, and then you're going to, and then that's what's going to take you to your sun, to fully embody the sun at M3, because you just cleared the moon. And what I need everyone to understand is, as an ascended collective with ascended masters walking down here, attached into the collective, on the ground, channeling and embodying all of these different cosmic energies, as we were laid here to do, we reprogrammed IO. These moon settings and this moon information that's coming in is not just what we had the past 7 years, which was all the crap that had been done for eons. Because when we were lining up these moons the past 7 years, it's like we's getting the bag, right? Like we got the whole dump. Oh my God, this moon hadn't been touched for 20,000 years. Here's your load. This moon hadn't been touched for 2 million years. Here's your load. Well, the new IO frequency is gonna only go back on any strand to give you information that you need to know in order to connect into that new motherboard template. It's not going to take you, unless it needs to, unless use a sleeper, meaning you were purposely programmed to not activate except all at once, and then now you've got to go, depending on how much you're connected into those sources, then you might have to go back and see, like you might get a quick recount about Venus. This is where Venus did this, and this is how it's connected to this, but you don't have to clean it. That part's already been done. These moons are just going to show you what is pertinent for you now, so you can move forward. I hope that makes sense. Now, why is this huge reprogramming happening right now, especially in September? Because of where Venus is. Because we're heading into Libra, where we're rebirthing this collective. We're getting stagnant. We're getting synergy in all these different bubbles. Okay. Oh, and Virgo is up. House of Virgo is up on the website. We're working on Libra, and shoot. I'm not even meaning to do this. I'm trying to get to the chart. Hold on. Cohue32.com. Just go check it out. Cohue32. Cohue32.com. Go check it out. Go read about them. The different items. And that Virgo energy, because we're in a the reason I'm telling you is that's what this eclipse is. It's Virgo and Pisces energy. Galactic command. The sun is in galactic command. The sun just lined up 5 freaking moons. 5 different collective moons. It's lining them up. How close can you get it to 1? By the end, you will. By the end, you will get it to 1. Galactic Command. Mercury's in Virgo. Still hasn't, it's basically coming up on, like, over the ocean sea level. Like, the energy right above the ocean. And the mountains and the cliffs and all that. 20 is going to go underwater. Venus is in Spica. Okay? Well, let me show you what's happening. Because what's happening this year with all the sun and the moon alignments. Because remember, even when we're talking about AB negative blood, or if we're talking about double simians, we're talking about the sun and the moon. AB negatives just have sun and the moon energies joined in their bodies. They have to separate them into a sun and a moon. AB negatives are tuned to specific M suns and specific moons by black magic. Literally. It's how it ended up in the end of days. I want you to really think about that. If you don't, if you're, that's why jinn and the original jinn, well, that's not a jinn, that's a parakeet. And the parakeet, that's one half of you is tuned to the sun in the physical, your body. The other half of you is tuned to the moon, your body. And you're kind of getting led all around the matrix. What decisions are you going to make? Then are you going to become a black parakeet? Are you going to become a white parakeet? Are you going to become a red parakeet and you're a warrior? Are you going to become a green parakeet? You're the healer. You're going to become the yellow parakeet. You're the wisdom master. I don't know. First, you got to make sure you don't go black. Because everything in the world and the humans around you are going to make you want to go black. They're going to make you want to shut off your compassion and shut off your heart. Now, when that's lined up and your body's lined up to the sun and the moon, what happens? You're a genie. You print shit. You manifest it. That's what a jinn is. Well, how come the jinn were getting printed down here with wrong M suns and wrong moon systems? And why are there so many jinn down here? Because there's way more than there should be, but they're all lab made in order to keep the rest of the collective from embodying your sun and your moon. I hope y'all are following me. In your highest spiritual forms, that's what you're doing. You're aligning your correct sundial setting and your correct M setting with a timeline that's been done before. That's an easy walk and a skip and a jump. That's quantum jumping. Now, for the first time in history, we have a new setting on Izar. We're in Spica right now. It's like, and this is why I even got this pin. Izar is dead on at 27 degrees Libra. This happens to be where my Mercury is. This is why I know this. It's hitting on Andromeda, which is 25 degrees dead on Aries. Okay? This is all about your energetic collective bodies that we've been putting together. For thousands of years, this wheel and how our reality manifests down here and connects into our human bodies to manifest had a ceiling right here, and this was Alpha Draconic. After death, AD. There's a reason that we had it. It kept all the records, didn't it? That's for dang sure. The other day I said, now we know why vampires exist. Well, this is kind of the same. This is kind of the same thing. Like why would spirit allow it to exist? Well, this is why. Now, what's happening is Arcturus goes like this. This is 18 to 24. Spica is the resonance that comes out of it. So if you think about all this energy and you're on one of those rides that you get sucked to the wall, all the energy of that spinning, of everybody getting sucked to the wall, is bringing up this Spica wheat. And this is what's in the Bible, and this is the prophetic. This is also the tongue of the dragon. And this is where the collective went in the cycle. We went all the way up to Spica. Now, when you get up to Spica, okay, you don't have a body. So it's almost like this whole circular thing is forming the body codes, and then this is like your soul. Your soul pops out. The Spica and energy are the little light orbs that make all of the crop circles. If you've ever seen a video of how where they've caught some of these little light balls that come and they just kind of flow around the grass, and then it melts the grass right there, and then you get some type of crop design. That's Spica. If you have Spica energy, you've been involved with doing that somehow. You were either putting in the information, or hell, you might have even been the soul attached to the soul energy that went down there and burned that crop circle. But you're a ball of light shooting around inside the matrix. That last eclipse that we had on the 14th was lined up to this. October 14th. We all, since October 14th, it's like we's all sitting right here and waiting. Okay? This is where we are right now. Now, what's going to happen, and what's happening is, this is starting to spiral. Connected to this other galactic, because I mean the reason that this is our holds, this level, is because it's connected into another galaxy down here, and it's stretching it. Okay, so, and this is going up. This is what's happening right now. Your soul and this ecliptic energy is going to put you where you need to go to either drop down into Arcturus for a minute, because you're going to learn some serious alchemy in the next year as you rise up. You're still going to rise up. But you might need to learn, you don't have Arcturus, so you got to learn that for a year, and there's some alchemy that needs to be done in your world, and then you're being shown, because you're going to witness all the changes. You're going to know by the time you're done that you have these powers. No one's going to come tell you. You have to do it. That's how you get such a strong knowing. Okay? Some are going to start going down. Some that have been messing with us, that have been trying to throw us out into space, they're going to go and they're going to get stuck way down here. No matter where your frequency is, DNA-wise, have you cleaned your family line? Not had your twin do it, not had the collective do it, not even fucking just like, oh, okay, thank you, you cleaned my family line. No, now you're gonna you're gonna go back and get sucked into this thing to be shown exactly where your twin or the collective freaking undid that, because you've got to see it so you can connect and get back up here with us. This is on a DNA thing. This I'm not talking about energy. I'm talking about DNA. This is like a DNA magnet of nothing but pure light soul energy. This is why the moon's also going over Pluto right now. And I mean, and it's between Saturn retrograde and Neptune retrograde. Your program and your subconscious that this eclipse is happening in Pisces. It's freaking in Pisces. It's nuts. Since we broke this ceiling, now what I'm seeing is as we come, because as Venus leaves Spica, then it's gonna drop back into this ring, okay? And it's literally throwing us up, like we're these little light orbs, were these little light orbs that are like, woo, woo, woo. Wait a minute. I got up to the top of Alpha Draconic and my stuff is still like, I still got connections. It's like we're getting spit, almost like spitballs, onto this DNA line. All of us. Over the next coming days, we're flying up and our energies are going to stick on this. Now, a lot of you haven't cleared this Alpha Draconic energy. That's okay. You're going to be clearing it with the collective. It's already connected. You're going to be witnessing how our reality changes with a new collective dominant DNA strand in the wheel. Everybody's getting magnetized to this thing. And if you really understand what this is, like, because this is basically what I started talking about over here with this M-Sun thing. You're going to gravitate to where you need to, and then you're going to start clearing it no matter if you don't make it all the way up, because this is a motherfucker. This is like taking over the entire Alpha Draconic army, which we've done in the hires. But that's how dramatic it is. But realize now, this isn't Alpha Drac. This is your Ascended Collective. So all of these things that were being held in each one of these M-Sun lines that you could never get to, you're getting all of it in these orbs. This ain't the same orbs that were here before we flung out up here. The whole signature has changed because it's connecting outside of space. Like this deep down here and this high up here, they're flushing all the way through these galaxy currents now and taking over the wheel. Because now we're going to utilize and teach everyone's coming out of the wheel. But you gotta learn a lot of the stuff that was projected down here to us wasn't even about us. Is what was written on us. This is to the extent of how you can be written on. You gotta understand that, so then you start writing the new timeline. So each one of us is gonna power up. That is what's happening right now. Now, some might get in this and sit down for a while. Some of y'all, if you don't have any of this Libra energy, like if you didn't have any of it, if it said it was mastered, you's counting on us to do this part. You've got all this Aries down here, and basically you might stay here, but you just got a flushed line. Because this energy is building up at the same time. Because this whole thing has changed. Some might get in here and sit down and build. Okay. If that's where your soul's telling you to do it, do it. This is a mass awakening. I mean, the masses are going through this is the last 7 years. You're going to gravitate to where you need to gravitate to. A lot of you are going to become leaders. This is where your empire is starting this year, but you might not realize what you're building for another 6 or 7 months, because your mastery is breaking this bubble and this bubble. You see what I'm saying? So this ain't necessary, because this whole thing's been washed. Now all the connections are there in every single thing of Alpha Drac. But if it's just built off 369 and Alpha Drac, it's bye-bye. It's gotta flush all the way through and start way out here and build up all these connections by doing your healing journey, by working with others in the collective, by making different decisions in your reality, by staying focused on what you need to stay focused on. By understanding why you're seeing it to begin with. Why is it coming up? Those things. You'll be on it for at least a year. Some might be on it the rest of their lives. They might not do another upgrade. That's all right. That's all right. Now, This is happening because we changed the 13th month of the entire fucking cycle in February this year. That new is our line and the new dominant energies. I don't care if they call themselves elites or not. I don't give a crap if they call themselves the King of London or not. They aren't. NATO, you're losing all your damn power. Australia, you best get it together. California, oh shit. I've been telling y'all, one of y'all needs to offer up a sweet pad for us to come stay there for a minute. California, anybody that's living in California and you're highly concerned and you're watching this video, well, you might ought to get in contact with me, and all I need to do is go sit there for a while. Things will even out, but it's going to have to be a nice invitation. And it might even need to come from the damn government. But can we go there and sit there on somebody's couch and work from there just like I'm working from here in Texas and stop some of this stuff from happening? Yep. But you're going to have to ask me to come back now, because you tried to grid us down in California and make the whole cosmos revolve around us 6 dimensions too high again to run a 369. Is why your crap is breaking. Okay. All y'all that did it, you best get it together and come up with a plan, because you know what you did to make it happen. Well, you better go and re-engineer what you did and put it back together. Because all you did, government and Alpha Draconic and whatever the F-balls that was stealing star energy and cosmic energy this whole time and trying to kill us and spinal tap us and give the collective polio and try to make everybody sick that's helping everybody else because you want them all to be puppets and shit. Well, only thing that's going to stop California from completely falling over is getting the right people there and getting the people like the Dashins and all the people that were given houses just so they could live there to hold the energy because they're good little programmed puppets. Well, you better kick them all out first. Then you better get a Rolodex together, start calling us and making us some contract offers. And we're very aware that we're coming to put back together your state. But that's where we're at. That's what's happening. February was the 13th month. February is the energetic of September. We rewrote the cosmic lineup to the human body in February and in March. Y'all remember this? We were lining them up, here's where the eyes first lined up. Well, that's where we're at coming out of this eclipse. This eclipse is lining up. The orbs of perception. It's lining up the appropriate moons from all the dimensional aspects that you've put together. It's dimensional. It's multidimensional. It's far past, oh, it's my past life. Because no, most of the time it's not your past life. It's the past life of your collective. You're channeling that past life because it connects into your current or your future life. But every single lifetime that you remember is not, it wasn't you embodied. It was somebody in your line. Because it all goes back to one. I don't care what DNA line you're in. I don't care if there's how many there are now, because there's massive amounts of different blood that they've done and this and that. You're lining up your multidimensionality. Why? Because the collective and the ascended masters took over Ophiuchus. Not Alpha Draconic, not Reptilian, not Zeta Reticuli, not Artificial Intelligence. Now, all those three that I just named, if you're an ancient, if you're real ancient, and you're attached into the ancient side that was harnessed to make the earth, then you've got those three. Somehow you were Alpha Drac, it was in your chart, but then it didn't, they put it in you, you took it on for the collective, whatever. Then it became Zeta Reticuli and AI. If you don't have any of that Alpha Drac energy, if your energy is all more galactic in space, well, then you're having to align it. The moons are lining up to align your sun. If you're more from the earth perspective and you feel every change in the earth and you've been feeling pregnant, or you even got pregnant, or you had babies or miscarriages or induced labor, even trying to make that baby come early, trying to, like, there's all these different forces that have been messing with the birthing cycle down here. Well, then you're lining up your moons because your sun's got to line up first. See, this is where every single one of us are different depending on how your energies line up. But every single one of us has a sun and moon alignment. It always started as one alignment. This is where we are right now. When on the 17th, in February 17th, it had been 15 months since Jupiter. Now it's been 22 months. Now Io has taken on the full stories of the collectives that have already cleared. All of that is going into the moon consciousness. And it's going to be stuff that you'll have a connection to, but you've got to go do some research, and there's a thought process behind it. This is where you start realizing that some of the stuff that we have labeled as evil didn't start out that way. The real reason it was done. That's what you want to get back to. Because when you understand the real reason it was done, then you understand the physics of it. Now you can change it. Can't just stop it. Can't just have all the bees not make honey anymore. You can't just stop it. There's a reason that organically and universally it was happening. There's a reason that it was formed to begin with. You're going to get back to those answers, but it's going to be multidimensional. It's going to bring you all the ancient and futuristic information that you need to merge, because you're no longer in the past, you're no longer in the future, you're no longer in these 5 different Olympic rings, which is, now we know that's what it was. The Olympic rings were a moon template to line this up. And the colors match to the World War II stuff that happened with the Star of David, and the way they did the colors, and the way they were gassing the tribes, and yada na 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 na. The sex, and I'll just say the sex, and I'm not saying sex, I'm saying sect, just so I don't get no racial profiling crap down here sent to me about what I'm about to say. But the sex, let's say the sect and race of people that, per the story, were gassed in World War II, well, they've already, the dharma that they got for doing that was to be rich and rule the world for a little bit. Well, they kept it running too long. They already ran out of their energy from that. They already milked it as much as they could. But they've already received it. Now that particular sect has become the enemy, because then after they got all that dharma and information from what happened to them in the 40s, then they just decided that now they're owed it, and they'll just control the whole world with what they got from it. So then they end up doing the same thing that the other faction did to them. You see what I'm saying? Like if you look back into history and universal law, because that was the 1940s. Okay, well, what about the Indian tribes? All right, well, what about the galactic tribes? All right, well, I mean, you see what I'm saying? It was their turn in the 20s. The Indian tribes got their turn in the early 1900s, 20s, when they got all their land assigned back. But then that created its own problem, right? So I know that was a lot to follow, and so I think I'm just gonna end it. I'm just gonna end it there. The website is up. I'll be coming back on. I'm following my guidance as to when I need to come on and post about this stuff, but I will be coming back on sometime this week to show more about how to get your hues, and follow along with us. Now there's the House of Kochi, and we have all these items with the Virgo energies, and each one is going to tell you what this energy does in your house. And not all of them have Virgo written on them, okay? Because some of you are going to want to sport Virgo, or some of you are going to find out your Venus is in Virgo or your Jupiter is in Virgo, and you're going to feel like, "Oh my gosh, I need that energy in my house." Realize that whether you're a Virgo or not, what this energy is part of the wheel. It's part of the etheric expansion to connect you into Libra, and connect your etheric body, so that whenever you get flung out here, you're going to stick to the right place here. It's a process. You're merging the body and the energetics together, creating an orb around you like cosmic energy, like in a Sophia body, so that everything on the inside can line up the way it needs to, while the rest of everything is being held off of you. That's what Virgo does. And each one of these, and we got some really cool ones, man. I can't wait to do a hotel. This one's velvet. And when you're under this blanket, it's going to do specific things. Go read about it. I wrote about the shower curtains. Shower curtains we're using as clearing portals. This is the Virgo shower curtain. Every time you or your family steps into the power of water, wrapped in your Kochi Virgo shower portal, they receive an energy cleanse. Each shower is an energy wash of etheric, stagnant energy distortions. No matter if you are a Virgo or not, the Kochi pattern is designed to wash away what no longer serves in your auric field while you clean your body. If you feel disconnected, the power of water with cosmic infused Kochi design will do the trick. Now, the reason that I'm even harping this up is because those of you that are leveling up into controlling the unseen, it's a whole new Akashic library of realizing that you can tune everything. Just like the gemstones and the crystals that everybody loves and spends so much money on, getting that energy into your house. Well, that's like you putting a whole bunch, which is good. If you have all that, if you have all those crystals in your house, then these are going to work even stronger for you. There's other ones of us that have more star knowledge, and it's like yes, we like the crystals, and the crystals do power up our energy, but it's like putting more suns in our energy field, okay? And then you've got this huge power source because you've got crystals all over your house, but you're not lining up any etheric, you're not lining up the colors. You're not lining up the etheric. You're not putting the power into the consciousness. You already know your shower is a portal. Every time you go in your bathroom, you get a download. I mean, literally with my team is like every time we go to the bathroom or every time we get in the shower or every time we get in the bath, we get some type of connection. That's because that's a water connection. And I'm just showing, and because whenever you like, because my crew understands these colors, we understand what these colors connect to in the cosmos. We understand what that Virgo energy in the wheel does. We understand how it's connected from Leo. We understand what it's pulling in from Leo. We understand why it's pulling it into Virgo to get it into Libra. Whenever we'll have Libra and Sagittarius up on the site within the next 7 days. Okay. And these pillows, we're some of them, we've got the star energies that are just written in there. So you know what star is grounding in. And they just have like this one has the Virgo pattern on the back. But what I'm describing to you is the mastery of the wheel and mastering the energetics and the etherics. All of these items are tuned with the cosmic designs, the flow patterns, like the mandalas, if you will, a New Age mandala, to do exactly what that house is designed to do. You might even we're going to end up having necklaces in all the different houses. So I know it's like, for me, I'll be collecting these and wearing them depending on what experience I'm going into. Almost like you're choosing a crystal to wear. But what this does is set a matrix scene, like a energy moon, not a sun. It's going to organize your etheric energy, and any place that you walk into with this, that's what you're doing. If you keep it, when you're keeping it in your house, it's organizing your etheric energies and compartmentalizing them in the cosmos in a natural way, not in a tech Wi-Fi code way. All right. So Libra, and we're working on Libra and Sagittarius now. That's what we're doing over here. So that all the energies will be up by the end of October. So we're in a big push over here. And I'm just even reminding you of all that because whatever you've been building, if you've been building like I have, if you've been building a brand, if you've been building a book, or you've been building cards, or you've been building whatever it is, now is the best time to at least go pick it up and make some steps with it, because remember, everything's having to line up on here. So for those of us that are coming up zero right here, and like we completely jumped out of the matrix, it's like a bug on a windshield. You're gonna end up landing on that vibratory pattern depending on how your project is connected into the rest of the collective that's doing stuff that's lining up that you don't even realize yet. If it's a relationship, if you have a physical person in your life that you've been working through this, not my weird crazy 6-dimensional stuff where they're all celebrity pretend mimics, whatever the hell. If you've got a physical person in your life that you're working on a relationship on, and you know that relationship is the glue, I don't care if it's a friendship or if it's a sexual relationship, then focus on that. Is another example of doing the same thing. All right. Don't forget to hit the like button. Thank you. Thank you, Mika. I was just looking at these comments. All right. I hope that helps. This is very high information, but it's explaining how the collective is getting our timelines back. So September is always a lead up to hook into how everything is going to project to the entire world. This is the sequence that your elites were using in September in order to line up New World Order, in order to build Target, in order to build Walmart, in order to build government systems, in order to blah, blah, blah. This is the energy that they've been utilizing for hundreds of years right here. We took the harvest. The harvest is still tuned to you. It's not separated now. Thank you, Ted. All right. I'm going to jump off here. This eclipse is lining up that hybrid space station. You want to jump. Let me finish real quick. You want to jump out of that hybrid space station. Now I'm going to come full circle. Everything that I've talked about since the beginning of this video, whenever I said this eclipse is lining up with that space program, that hybridized space program, where the moon is going over right before you finish the wheel, is that whole thing with, if you know anything with Corey Good and Gaia TV. Great example. The whole thing is not that it's all wrong. It's all correct history information. Their view of what's going to happen next is all wrong because they're separated from their body, bound as a collective. Corey Good talking about going on a space mission for 20 years, and then he got back and he's still only 8 years old, but he's gone 20 years in his mind. And then he gets on the space station, and as soon as he gets there, he sees all these people with these powers. They have all these different suits. Then as you're a good little boy and you mind the directions and you don't come against authority as they're teaching you your abilities, then you get a new suit. You get the new space suit, and now with this new space suit that they gave you because you was being a good boy, using your powers for what they wanted you to, now they're going to tell you, oh, now you can x-ray vision. Now you can blip out from planet to planet. Now you can do this and this and this. And if you're a good little boy, then we're going to give you the keys to the ship. Well, that ship's your body. Those suits don't mean shit. You had all those abilities as soon as you got there when you were 8 years old. They're all they did was show you what you could do, and then keep you merged to them, so you're working for them. Now this is also in the Alpha Draconic line, because within the Alpha Draconic line, this is how they could see through your eyes. This is how they could see everything that you were doing. If you had Alpha Drac energy, and all of us do, but I'm talking about if you had any of it, and I'm even talking about the nodes, the ancient nodes and the mummification and all of that, how all those primers were seamed up over eons, thousands of years. If you have that Alpha Draconic, this is why they knew exactly where you were. This is why they could see through your eyes. This is what Looking Glass was. You're getting it from the inside out. You're going to be shown what you were doing for their army, because every single one of us was working for the other side. We were. During those training energies, they wouldn't have trained us otherwise, whether they used a handler system or whether It's just how they were doing it. This eclipse, a bunch of us are jumping out. We're jumping out of that ship. This is also the whole story about Andromeda blowing up, it being one of the last ones to blow up. Well, that's because our collective bodies aren't making a ship out in space for your soul to inhabit anymore. You got to put your body and your soul back together, and you got to jump back in here to Aries. And whenever you do, then it's connecting all of these all the way back down here and all the way up for the first time in history, because this 0 to 3 degrees that was taken out right here is what caused this ceiling to begin with. We're doing it as a collective. And then when this, I mean, and this is why Neptune's going back in March of next year into Aries. Because first it's going to have to tune your subconscious, but it's going to tune your subconscious to a human DNA reality code, not an alpha draconic Olympic moon setup. All right. Love y'all. If you have any questions or there's something that's going on in your world and you want me to do a little video about it because you know others or you want to know, please write it in the comments of this live. And let's because this is the multidimensional part that you got to realize. You got dimensional aspects of yourself that are walking, that are live, that have embodied it. Not energies floating around your head. You're merging together 5 to 1 or 3 to 1. Well, if you're sitting together in your house and you're not talking to anybody and you're not even like at all saying this information or talking to at least 2 people, then you don't have 3. You only have 1. Some of you didn't now need to open up a little bit more. Now there's going to be a couple of new people. That's what came to my world. I've got a couple of new people. And realize that right now, especially because we aren't crazy busy yet, whenever you buy these things, then I'm going back and forth with you on email, and you can tell me different things, and I'm doing a lot. I'm doing a lot with you guys because my goal is to get a group of y'all that are ready to start mastering this, and I want to train you so you can help us get this stuff out, and I can start paying you to do it. You can get paid to learn. But this is the expansion that and why now new energies are coming in. And remember, the Sun and Mercury are going to follow. This is where we are now. What is it? The chaff separated from the stalk? What is that? The chaff separated from the wheat or whatever? That's where we are right now. That's what those circles are either pulling you up into this, or you're still in the grids. But no matter, those grids are going to start changing to get you to want to pull up, or you're just going to become a worker ant, and that is what it is, and you just got to be okay with it. Yeah, Ted, email me. Email me at princess with an E on the end, chastia@gmail.com, and we'll definitely work something out because you also sent in some money when I needed it without anything. So we will definitely work that out 100%. And I can call you about it when I get to the point, because I feel like that's even what you paid for. Whenever and go back to the day that you sent that money, that's when that's whenever you made that alignment. But doing your chart is gonna align you. The mothership has changed. The mothership and the motherboard is now cosmic. You gotta align as best you can with that cosmic grid. Just each time it comes around, you want to align the best you can. And also, I want everyone to remember that when you do this too fast, you end up having a crazy YouTube channel like me. If you've been calling in for grace and ease, if you've been calling in for this stuff to happen with grace and ease, that is how it's going to happen. Don't get mad if it takes a few years to hook in. But you're doing it the easier way that's going to flow more. Maybe you've got children around you. Maybe you're taking care of a bunch of people. There's a reason that you're asking for it that way. If you're saying, like I had to, I never said grace and ease. Just fucking give it to me. Just give it to me and let's get it on. Well, you'll get it all at once. There might be a year of chaos that you get done in 6 months. It's still going to be better than anything that happened before. I can promise you that. It's not going to be the same tower moments that we had before because it's not even active anymore. It still might feel that way, but it still has to change. So I'm telling y'all all of this because there's this whole competitive nature to all of this that popped up this past 7 years that created this fucking crazy 5-dimensional war because everybody wanted to be something that isn't even here anymore. I'm reminding you that you're controlling it. I'm reminding you that you're controlling it. Because at the end of this, to master this hybridized, your body is not shared with the collective anymore. Now you're the body that the collective's hooked into is a whole different set of wisdom, a whole different set of emotional maturity, it's a whole thing. But it's lining your Virgo up perfectly to the collective to pin out and fan over the rest of this energy. And that's what the moon's doing. It's like flushing it from wherever it links in. Because remember, these go way out here, 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 right? I mean, it's flushing it. You can think of the moon like a shutter. It's gonna come and it's gonna take that energy whenever that pin gets hit up here. Now it's gonna flush it like this from way out there. It's gonna flush it, flush it, flush it, flush it, flush it, flush it. That's where you're gonna start getting these little shadow perspectives. When it comes out at Izar and it hits in Scorpio, then it's gonna drop. Boom. Now the moon's changing the current. If it hits over here, it's elemental. It's going to be even further out than this Izari went over here. Now, but it's going to be clearing these elementals. Well, if you've got Scorpio, then get ready because you're fixing to push through some shit, and you better get your alchemy tools ready. If you're got these Sagittarius energies, you need to know what those are because that's what's coming through to push that shadow to close it out. And the next. On the website, we've determined that we're going to do new moons. I'm going to write up about new moons right now. I'm not going to write up about full moons. Everybody else is doing that. The new moons are lining up. 9/9. The October new moon's going to be on 9. Sun and the moon on 9. Sagittarius, sun and the moon on 9. Scorpio, sun and the moon on 9. How many do we have? 3. What's that lining up? 3 different cycles. You're either going to hit it and be balancing it out for a year. You're going to be working the alchemy, because this is more Cancer in the first house. You're going to be working with the collective and alchemizing the next year. Or you're dealing with tuning the stars, tuning your blankets, tuning your this, tuning your that. But that's all dependent on what energies are lining you up on there. So that is where we're at. For those of us who have mastered it and went Sagittarius in the first house, and this is how I know if you went Sagittarius in the first house, you know what I'm telling you. This is making a ton of sense. It's a big freaking machine, literally, run by cosmic energy, the whole cosmos, the stars, the planets, all of it, and you realize that you can tune it. That's because you're fixing to step in as the collective that's running the whole matrix orb off their bodies. Not the Rothschilds, not the presidents, and not the dictators. All right, that's the good news. 1256 1211. It's either Kirsten or Sanja. That's a clue for that. That's a connection for one of y'all. I can't remember since I talked to both of y'all yesterday back to back. But 1211 was one of our time syncs. So it just came up. Mwah. Love y'all. We got this. We got this. Bye.